Hey guys, this is Inbound Tuesdays number 5. My name is Troy and I'm with Powered by Search. Today we're going to be talking about the distribution cycle. And the distribution cycle is something that's very interesting. A lot of people talk about content. They say content is king. My favorite quote though was content is king, but distribution is queen. So I wanted to talk a little bit about distribution, since a lot of people haven't really, or from what I've seen, a lot of people aren't discussing distribution a lot. They kind of just focus on, what is a good piece of content, and then they just hope that a lot of people are going to see it. So I want to talk about why distribution is important first. So I have a blog. It's at troyfox.com. That's my pseudonym. And I write stuff that I think is really good. I used to put in a whole lot of work. It used to be a nice little personal story, kind of following me through some adventures that were really exciting. I thought they were really exciting. And I had maybe 20 visitors a day to that blog. It wasn't a whole lot, and I didn't put a whole lot of work into keeping them. I didn't have a social feed, I didn't have email capture, I didn't do anything like that. It was just people coming to my site. So nobody really cared, basically. I was writing stuff that I loved and I thought I was passionate about, and nobody really cared. And that's kind of what I think the trap is if you think content is king and you forget about distribution. Because distribution is what gets you your beautiful content, your wonderful content, in front of thousands and thousands of eyes. So I want to talk about this distribution cycle and why it's important to distribution in general. So with distribution, I'll run you through it really quickly. First of all, you have new distribution, because when you start, there's no distribution, right? You have 0 people coming to your blog or your content or whatever it happens to be. Nobody knows about it, nobody cares. So you start with new distribution. This comes from other people's lists. So you could go one by one, you could go talk to all your friends and say, hey, come and visit my site, come and read my blog. And that's kind of what I did when I started my site, my troyfox.com. I just said, hey guys, come to this site, it's fantastic, read it. And it was one person at a time. And it was very slow, obviously. It never really picked up, and I stopped caring about it before I really learned anything about SEO. So now there's no distribution, but new distribution, it comes from other people's lists. So instead of talking to one person at a time, what you're going to do is you're going to talk to people who have a list already. So for example, if you're in the SEO niche, maybe you come to Powered by Search's blog and you say, you add a comment, you ask us to guest post, you try to build a relationship with us, you try to get us to share your content on Twitter to our thousands of Twitter followers. And at that point, what you're doing is you're getting other people to come to your content. You're directing them to your piece of content by having a relationship, by participating in other people's social channels, by participating in other people's blogs, which is their content channel, right? So we can take that and we can create a new distribution. The second stage of the cycle, there's only 3 steps. The second step is your list, which is your voice, basically. So your list is anyone who follows you for you. And they actually follow you on a regular basis. They say, I want to know what Troy is thinking about. What is he talking about today? So with this, you have a company list, obviously. You've got maybe a little individual list for specific areas, but it's a list. It's an email list, or it's a Facebook, or a Twitter, or LinkedIn, or Google+. Whatever list you happen to have, that's what it's all about. So you're going to take people from new distribution, and you're going to turn them into your list. Which would be building followers, that kind of stuff. And this should be a goal of your new distribution. It should be one of your goals in every single content piece. It should be adding on to your list and making it strong and refined. So it should be very specific to whatever niche you're currently in, whatever you currently write about. You want to have a lot of people who are very passionate about it and strong about it in that list. The next step of the cycle is your list distribution. So while we could always have, you can have your list, and you can create, you can still build your list every day, and you can go and you can create new distribution by going to different sites, different social media, all that kind of stuff. That's a whole lot of work, right? The great thing about the list is whenever you send out your content to the list, and it's content that they love and they're following you for and they love you for, they distribute it to their list. And if they're influential enough, if they're strong enough, then they distribute it to more people. So, person A, who's myself, will distribute it to person B, and hundreds of persons B, and maybe 1 or 2 of them is incredibly influential, they share it as well. And their followers share it, and their followers share it, and that would be virality, right? So you take your list, and then you have your list distribution, which also gets to share it and push it forward. So This is the most awesome part about distribution. If you start to think about it this way, of your list and distributing content, then what you constantly are doing is you're constantly distributing it to people who would not have seen it before, you're constantly building your list because that's now you're focused on, and you're going to take that and you're going to make sure that you emphasize the fact that you have a list and you take advantage of it, and you give them a lot of value so that they share it and they make your list even better, and it becomes a cycle. So that's kind of it. It's actually really simple, a distribution cycle. If you focus on this as well as your content, then what you end up having is, instead of the 10 visits a day to your amazing content, you get thousands and thousands of visits a day because of your amazing content, and they take that amazing content and they share it amongst their distribution as well. One thing I do want to keep in mind, or want you to keep in mind with this warning, is that it becomes across as like a free, easy to do kind of thing, and people say, well, now it becomes easy and I don't have to actively do it, now it's passive income, which is just not true. Rand Fishkin actually joked to me on Twitter when I asked him, how would you create links, and he said, I would just hit publish. And it was a joke. I know for sure that he does actually just hit publish, but he does also work with other people, or else he wouldn't have participated in my outreach project, and hundreds of other outreach projects, and other things like that make sure his brand is there. The thing is, it looks easy for him because he has a list, and he's built this. He's worked in this cycle for such a long time that his list is so big, but he still actively pursues it. He just has it as part of a process. So don't think about having this distribution cycle and making it, making your life passive where you can just forget about it. Just think of it as taking this active process, this active thing, and turning it into something that you do all the time, over and over again. So whenever someone comes to your site, you're always prompting them to sign up to your list. You're always giving your list a lot of value whenever you distribute it, so that they distribute it to other people as well. And you're always working to get new distribution, but it's just something you do every day. So that'll help you, help you understand your distribution, help you get your content in front of other people, and hopefully you got a lot out of this. Again, my name is Troy. This is Powered by Search's Inbound Tuesdays. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.